Twin Flames. This is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. As you know, we have a new moon in Taurus coming up on May 19th. So this reading is going to be dedicated to this lunation event and what it has to offer for Twin Flames. In the meantime, you can see me in a new setting. I'm visiting my friend in Montreal in Canada, and yeah, I'm doing reading from here. And Sam's probably gonna go for a few more readings this week. But anyway, let's get started. I'm excited. I've got a few decks here. So we'll start with the oracle message. The more generic message of the focus, the vibe, the theme. Then we'll go into tarot to talk about the opportunities not to miss, and then of course something that might be stopping you, the challenges, which I find is important to know, just so that you understand that if you don't feel like your intention set in your manifestation process is complete or is working for you, then you know what to pay attention to and you can turn things around, right? You can refocus, you can remove at least for that blocker not to outweigh the good things you're trying to do, to create, right? Because new moon is about setting intentions, about starting something new, bringing, attracting something into your life that you really want to build for yourself. Even more so in Taurus, because Taurus will emphasize first of all your wants and needs, right? What your senses require, that will be of big importance, but also what your values are, right? And how are those things that you're bringing in or you want to bring in are going to be aligning with those values. So it's going to be harder to people please. It's going to be harder to kind of have a good life on paper, right? Because you will be getting this big realization how much it does not make you happy inside, and then this big question, why am I still doing it, right? Why is that person still in my life, if so, right? And those answers, the checklist, are not going to be good enough anymore. So be ready for that, especially if you have a lot of Taurus in your chart. We also have Jupiter moving Taurus. I mentioned that on Tuesday. So that's another way of how Taurian energy is playing out now, and is going to be emphasized even more for this event or any other events that we're going to have connected to Taurus energy. Okay, so let's see what is the impact for the twins, how's it impacting the journey. And at first I'm going to start with an oracle card for Divine Feminine. Let's see, what do we have here? Two beautiful cats around me. I don't know if they decide to show up or not. Maybe in some other videos. Okay, I've got two cards. Synchronicity is a love letter from the universe across time and space. And a light grows brighter only by lighting another. Yeah, so this is like that energy exchange, right? What comes to you, what goes from you, right? It's like you get a message, you get a nudge, you get that 1111 sign or whatever else your signs are, right? Think about how you can share your light today, how you can be of an inspiration to somebody else, right? Or the Taurus / Jupiter vibe energy will be like, okay, I'm getting my abundance, I'm getting things I was wishing for. How can I impact the world? How can I contribute to the collective in a positive way with what comes around to me? Oops, that was a little intense. Come on, guys. Cards want to talk. Let's see what we have for the masculines. Okay. One of my masculine cards in this deck. They will only see the way by making the way. Yeah, so it's like a trailblazer energy, and Divine Masculines also ask to embrace this new moon energy in terms of proactively bringing what you want into your life, deciding the priority the vibe, the flavor, right? Even if it means doing something that friends and family don't approve, even if it means doing something that you never thought you would love doing, right? It comes into your consciousness, right? It comes to your attention for a reason. Live with it, work with it, observe it, right? See how it matches your energy, what you're trying to do right now. Okay, now I'm gonna use my new deck, the Tarot Mystical Moments, for the opportunities that are being created with this new moon. And let's start with Divine Feminine, of course. Let's see what are those opportunities for Divine Feminine's watching. In this reading, of course, I'm focusing a bit more on the twin journey and what we do as light workers and as twin flames. But yeah, everything I was talking about at the beginning is relevant regardless. It's a much more generic message, I would say. Probably even more relevant depending on your birth chart reading. But the core of it, yeah, this is for the twins. That's the emphasis. I don't want this clarity in the world. Yeah, so they both have this spheric shapes, by the way, right? Reminding us about the cycles and that it's up to us when it begins, when it ends, to a certain degree, right? Like, what I mean is that, of course, if you've integrated the lessons, if you've truly embraced the experience, it will complete the karmic cycle, right? It will get you somewhere else, right? But you can also continue going around and around in the same one, right? It all depends on how you treat it, how you work with it. So this is a big opportunity for the feminines to end some old cycles. And I don't just mean like a moon cycle or a certain situation specific one, right? It's like, it's an old pattern that is harder to pinpoint at its core, right? Like you see different manifestations of it, but it's harder to work like with the core trauma, with the core issue there, right? So this time you will be able to bring it about into your life, so you can be done with it for good, right? You can fully integrate it so that you don't have to be going through it in different shapes and forms over and over, right? We have a lot of shapes here, especially with the world, right? And maybe in a different way, but you still see certain tunes repeating themselves, right? Now this is going to be done for good. You need to bring in your personal passion, and I already spoke about the sensory systems, right? And what makes you joyful, what makes you happy, what makes you fulfilled in terms of your, what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what you smell. Those aspects are going to be super important in A, telling you what is not right, and B, helping you realize how to heal it, how to fix it. I know it might sound a little shallow that I'm talking about, pleasing your sensory systems or making your systems happy to deal with something very deep, but it is going to be key. Just like this unlocked sacred healing technique, if you wish. Okay, let's see what we have for the masculines. What are the opportunities for the divine masculines? The Wheel of Fortune. Oh, and at the end, we'll get the messages from, I'll get a card for each twin with the angel therapy advice. Forgot to mention that. Alright, we The Wheel of Fortune and Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, guess what? So divine masculines are planting seeds for the big future, for something destined, something big, something that will take them to the next level, right? In terms of where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to be doing. Can be directly connected with mission, can be secondary to that, but it's something that will bring in a lot more sense of confidence and satisfaction from what you do, which is also important for Taurus, actually, right? It's that emotional fulfillment from the material realm, right? Like, I'm XYZ, what do I do, right? I've accomplished XYZ, right? It shows, it reflects to me how well I'm doing, and you know, what do I have to strive for? I know it might sound a little shallow in a spiritual context, but it's not. We live in 3D world, and it's for a reason that those aspects are important. It's important not to fall victim to those, right? Not to drive yourself crazy about those, but it's still important to acknowledge them. And DMs have an opportunity to make a big energetic investment into those things going well for them, right? So they will be seeing certain successes in whatever it is they're pursuing. For a lot of them, it's going to be something completely new, and this will encourage them to go even farther, to do more, to risk more, right? That's another big theme for this new moon. And be able to see it as, you know, something destined, not just something that they made up for themselves. Because a lot of times it happens that way, especially if we're doing something that goes against the grain with what other people expect of us. But this will feel like, yes, it's the right thing. Not exactly sure why, but it is. And then those rewards start coming in, and then it's more and more clear. Okay, so what are the blockages or the challenges for divine feminines in this time? Oh, we got a lot of cards already. Nine of Pentacles, the Empress, and Eight of Pentacles. Yeah, it's interesting. They're all Earth energy. They're all really Pentacles. Think about it. So for divine feminines, it may be hard to kind of like realize that you are truly that Empress when you work on your own realm, on your own wealth, on your own projects, right? Like, you almost like you have to do it alone. You have to do it for yourself, right? There's no magic wand. There's no prince on the white horse, right? There's no sponsor that will just rush in and give you the budget that you need for whatever it is you want to begin, right? We have the Ace of Pentacles here, right? You'll have to work for those things. You'll have to discover that magic in you, those potentials in yourself. And it could be scary, right? Look at this person. To me, she looks even more like a businesswoman, even than the Empress, right? Like embracing that in your own right, without having to have somebody by your side to help you run things or help you financially. What do we have for the masculines? 8 of Wands. Please clarify. Six of Pentacles. Okay, a bit of Pentacles too. So it's gonna be harder to communicate externally about what is it that you do and how it will change the world. So it might be not as straightforward at the moment to explain it to people. There we go. That's what I wanted to say, right? But yeah, just a quick note, divine masculines. If you don't have to, you don't have to, of course. If you are not in a situation where it seems like that's the only way, you have to talk, don't do it. Don't think about it too much, because that's what actually will become a blockage for the energy flow, right? You feel through your senses that it's the right thing to do, that you know is going to serve the world, you know that it's going to be good for you personally. go for it. You don't have to explain. But yeah, the idea that you have to and how to do it could be a block. Okay, a card of angel therapy for divine feminine. What is it? The card of advice for divine feminine? Ascended masters. Powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching over and guiding you. Beautiful. And remember that if you feel like you need some support, you are supposed to ask them for it. Answering questions, specific things you would like to have help with. Card for divine masculines now. Emotional sensitivity. Honor and respect your deep sensitivity as it is a gift to us all. Yes, like I was just saying, if you feel that it's right in your senses, then go for it, right? So this is another side of it, right? A reminder to honor your sensory system. Taurus would love that. So use that momentum of the Taurus energy to indulge in this in a good way. And maybe even discover some new giftings for yourself through those experiences. Okay, I think I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I wish you all the best for this new moon and overall, and I will be back with more readings very, very soon.